listening to the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show. Listener discretion is advised at all times.
Hello and thank you once again for downloading and listening to another episode of the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show, part of the Social Suplex Podcast Network. My name is 205 Clive. Yes, that's right, it's cool to say that again, so I'm going to start using it again. And I'm joined by Ricky. Hello Ricky.
Good evening, how are you doing?
Good, thanks. I'm quite excited. Just a few more sleeps to ICW's version of the Royal Rumble with their Square Go pay-per-view event, so I'm quite excited about that. JR, welcome to the show.
2 weeks in a row, man. Yeah, happy to be here.
Doing well.
You've got a streak going.
I've managed to not have the flu.
It's always a good bonus.
It's good, man. It's been good to feeling alive and generally human.
Shout out to the Bee Gees for staying. Well, they're not all alive anymore, are they?
Sorry, before we just continue to, because I know we've got a couple of questions and a couple of other things we need to sort of talk about, so we'd like to get moving if we can. But before we continue, do you mind if I just quickly take the floor for a second? I've just got a couple of things I want to quickly go off my chest, if you don't mind.
Oh dear. Okay.
First things first. I would like to give a shout out and an apology to Caleb of the SMC podcast. As you know, earlier on, chatting on Facebook, I was stood at a train station for 45 minutes waiting for a train. Train finally came and it was absolutely jam-packed, so we're all crushed in there like sardines, so I wasn't in the best of moods. And then I saw Caleb's message, which I completely didn't read properly, and I shouted at him for no apparent reason. So for that, Caleb, I apologise once again. And to quote our good friend Dave Meltzer, reading would be my friend. Second point, just want to say, this guy doesn't know this. Now I'm about to say it. He's an extremely good friend of mine. A very good friend, actually. I would like to give a shout out to my good friend Clive, who it sounds stupid, right? But I must admit, folks, I really think you should need to start reading this guy's columns. I'm not saying it just because he's my co-host and a good friend in it, but I must admit, mate, your columns are absolutely fantastic, and I started reading them from the start. But see these last 4 or 5 columns you've put up, they've been absolutely wonderful. Just wanted to put that out there and just to encourage everyone to start reading it and keep giving this guy some love, because it's excellent stuff. It really is.
Well, thank you very much for that, Ricky. That's very kind of you to put me over in such an exuberant fashion. The most recent column he's talking about is on the Social Suplex website. It's called Rollins and Jordan, When Opposites Attract and Worlds Collide. I was quite proud of this one. It's no surprise that I'm writing columns about Jason Jordan. I love the guy, I'm a big mark of him, so that one came quite easy to my fingers.
You want to nip him?
You want to explain what nip means?
French kiss.
French kiss. Make out. Also,
is that first base? I don't know.
He wants to make it witch me.
You want to fucking make all the bases, mate.
Shout out,
ace a base.
Shout out to Rich Latta for his latest column. He did a sort of mock draft for a superstar shake-up. You can find that on the Social Suplex website and the Lords of Pain columns page. He's got some different ideas for who should go where when it comes to the next superstar shake-up. That's a good read as well.
Rich knows his stuff, to be honest. He really does. I enjoy reading his stuff as well, and some of the other things that he does as well, like the stuff he does on Anchor. So Rich knows his stuff as well.
Do you know what? Shout out to everyone in the world tonight.
Hi, why not?
And we'll start with a shout out to the Wrestling Square Circle Facebook group. I asked earlier today on there and on Twitter, and some family members of mine for some questions for tonight's show. And got one, and it's from a certain Mr. Latta himself. The question basically was, who the fuck can Seth Rollins fight at WrestleMania now? So obviously this is off the back of Jason Jordan having to go for neck surgery, and whatever plans they may have had creative for Seth and Jordan going forward, they've been scrapped now. So what are they going to do for JR? If you get any sort of decent creative ideas for what they can do for Seth Rollins going forward?
I think I actually said when I heard that Jason Jordan was down that I suggested KO for him. That I suggested Rollins getting drafted over to SmackDown on like a kind of draft deal, like pre-WrestleMania, and then feuding there. I think that he doesn't look like he's going to have that much going for him unless they're going to force another Sammy feud, which I don't want. So this is a kind of like a wee band-aid for both of them, I think. They're both kind of floating about, even though Owens is in this thingy storyline, the AJ storyline. You can tell it's just a placeholder for the eventual WrestleMania feud with Nakamura.
See, the whole Kevin Owens has got a story going on SmackDown at the moment. Whether it's good or not is up for debate, but I can't really. Have they done superstar swaps before? Before WrestleMania before? I know you've had the likes of Batista and Benoit. Well, not Batista, sorry. Benoit swapping over from SmackDown to Raw after he won the Rumble in 2004. But it's not something you see much these days, but it would be good to pardon a pun, shake things up a wee bit.
I mean, I think that they brought over Jason Jordan, and I kind of like that. This is out of superstar shake-up kind of thing, so I think it could work.
It could. Ricky?
Yeah, sorry. What was the question again? Sorry, I was looking at something else on the show notes, sorry.
Who can, basically, what would you do for Seth Rollins leading up to WrestleMania because of what's happened with Jason Jordan?
I think it's the answer I think can go either one of two ways. Are we talking about if we were going to do something, we would just start it completely afresh, or are we going to try and tie something into the storyline that's already been building for the last few months? So I know a lot of people weren't too enamoured with the whole potential Seth Rollins Jason Jordan match at WrestleMania, but people need to remember that was only done because, if we were led to believe, it was going to be Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. So you've got to cut them a little bit of slack there in that sense. That it wasn't enough. It wasn't their initial idea, initial plan. I think if you're going to continue with the whole storyline the way it's going just now, I don't take any pleasure in saying it, and I wouldn't be excited about it. But storyline wise, currently, for me, it would make sense if it was Kurt Angle. I think you can transition into that quite easily. Now, I'm not saying I want Kurt Angle to wrestle or I want to see that match, but in terms of strictly what's happening right now, in terms of a storyline aspect, to me, that's a seamless transition. However, if you're saying we can do whatever we want with him, I would put him in the final spot in the Elimination Chamber.
Is he in that? Sorry, see this, right, remind me who's in the Chamber match at the moment. Cena,
Elias, Braun, Cena,
Miz.
Roman and The Miz.
Is Seth in this Fatal 4-Way next week for the last spot?
I'm not sure. I'm going to check that right now, actually. I don't think it will be, to be honest.
Sorry for putting you off your...
So my fantasy thing would be then just put him in the Chamber. John Ross, I know you're going to agree with this. I would then have him win the Chamber, and this is just purely fantasy booking, and I would have him win the title at Royal Rumble. Sorry, WrestleMania.
Rollins?
The reason, yes. And the reason for that is technically we didn't get a proper finish, did we, to the Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins match, really? Because Undertaker interfered.
Aye, that was not a match, really.
So that was a long time ago. But anyway, just from a sort of fantasy aspect, I would do that, and then ultimately I would turn Seth heel again, because when he had the Money in the Bank, he was just shooting up. He was getting hotter and hotter, getting better and better. And then when he had the title, he was putting on great matches alongside great promos, and that is very difficult to do. Not a lot of people can do that. Sometimes people can master one, but not a lot of people have the ability to master both. And the other thing that I will say that truly speaks volumes of how great he is, sometimes when you give someone either the Money in the Bank or you give them a title, you know that old saying sometimes say the title makes the person or the person makes the title. Well, he made those things feel really relevant and really, really important, and it wasn't the other way around. So me personally, if I could have it anyway, I would put him into the main event of Mania and I'd have him win it. But I think if you're going to stay with what we're seeing right now, Kurt Angle would make sense, just because of, I think it's easy to transition into that storyline.
It does, but as you have said, I don't want to see Kurt Angle wrestle again after the Survivor Series performance. That was hard to watch. I really don't... Fantasy booking wise, I would like to see him in the chamber and maybe him and Roman Reigns double pin each other at the end or something like that, so it ends up a triple threat at WrestleMania. But two options, well, not two options, one of them, right, bear with me. HBO are doing an Andre the Giant special documentary, and I think it's airing the same week as WrestleMania. So I heard rumblings online that they're going to put a bigger focus on the armbar this year.
Yeah, I saw that.
So if they're going to put a big focus on the Battle Royal Memorial, could maybe, I know it's not the best use of Seth, but maybe he could win that.
No.
That's fine.
And I see what you're saying. It makes sense, but was it? I think it was 2 weeks ago that I said the only person that I would mention in the same breath as AJ Styles in that company is Seth Rollins. I'd probably throw Sami Zayn into that. Seth, no offence to Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, Seth is way too big for that and does not need it. I understand what you're saying, that fine, we'll put more emphasis on it, and that's what they might do. But what's going to happen a week or two later? They're just going to forget about it. It means absolutely nothing.
It's a Jobbers Battle Royale, man.
Exactly. Like, I think I've not got an issue if you give it to someone on the cusp of coming up to the mid card, or someone just in the periphery of things on the mid card. And then maybe you can use that trying to elevate them ever so slightly into the mid-card or whatever. But no, I think for one of your absolute best wrestlers, one of the best guys on the mic, one of you just one of the best around, period, he needs a big-time match at WrestleMania. I know Jason Jordan one certainly didn't feel like it to a lot of people. Me personally, I was looking forward to that match. I just thought, I've been on record, I said Jason Jordan was my favourite out of the two American Alpha guys, him and Gable. You mix him with Seth Rollins, and to me, it's just that'll be an excellent match. So it's a difficult one, because genuinely what they're going to do with him, I have no clue whatsoever. Well, he's not going to be anywhere near the main scene. If rumours to believe, he won't be in the IC title scene. He literally, I've not got a clue. But honestly, I know they're potentially doing that Triple H and Stephanie versus Ronda Rousey and someone. They want to get The Rock, which they're not going to get. And if it's not going to be Kurt Angle, then they'll probably end up dumping Seth into that, and it's like, that's just a waste. Because you could play off that Triple H and Stephanie have got past issues with Seth Rollins, etc. But that does nothing at all.
Well, it's looking grim for him at the moment, but I have faith, and if you'll allow me to take the floor for a wee minute, guys. On the Fly booking by WWE over the last few years has actually produced some of the better creative in a long time. So let's look back. I don't know if this is exactly chronological, but you had Finn Balor injured the night of SummerSlam. And that scuppered their plans in a big way, but what you got was Kevin Owens winning the Universal title a week or so later, and for Kevin Owens marks like myself, you guys as well, that was a big moment, seeing Kevin Owens win. When Braun Strowman had to go out for elbow surgery round about the spring-summer time of last year, that looked like they had to delay Braun's title shot, so they had a fatal 5-way, and it ended up seeing Samoa Joe get a push for a month or so, and it was actually a really good fatal 5-way as well. Bray Wyatt had his mumps on... what was it again that he had when there was a big sickness? Meningitis, when there was a big sickness going round last year.
Because they were winching each other.
They had the AJ versus Finn match at TLC, which was the hipster choice for match of the year for some people. When Drew McIntyre got injured after his match with Almas, he ended up having a tournament on NXT, and you had the rise of Gargano to the top of the ranks in NXT. Lastly, Dean Ambrose was injured. Now, I personally would not have wanted to see Dean injured. He's a workhorse, one of the Iron Men of WWE. But when Dean got injured, you got the story going on with Rollins and Jordan, and I really enjoyed that personally. So for me, on the fly booking when someone's injured, it has produced some positive results in terms of fan reaction and popularity. So we're still literally two months away. That's 8 weeks of TV, 7-8 weeks. I think they can find something decent for for Seth in those 8 weeks. So
sorry.
On you go.
What are they going to do with Finn? Does Finn still not have issues with Seth Rollins? There's a potential match right there.
But
that's a match that doesn't need a title.
I still think we're going to have Finn and Miz for the IC title.
Mm-hmm. See, I think that will only happen if they decide not to go with Kurt Angle in that mixed tag match, and if they don't get The Rock, because then I think we'll probably put Braun Strowman in that match. If not, I think Braun Strowman will get the IC title match.
Do you know something, actually?
Sorry, you go.
That could make sense, because there's been a heel turn teased for Finn, and he might all of a sudden say, do you know what, Seth? You injured me, and I don't forgive you anymore, so I'm going to come after you. So there is a possibility of that, and that would be a good match for Matt.
That's exactly the way that his promo would go as well. You injured me, I am coming after you now. That's not Irish, but
I think maybe we need to accept, and that might not be the right word, that Seth may not have a big part to play in WrestleMania. But I think coming out of WrestleMania, there's a lot of really interesting, very good matches you could have. Because Dean Ambrose is going to return at some point. You'd imagine that's going to happen. I would then love to see Seth turn heel and either go after the IC title, but I'd love to see him pushed into the main title picture. So I think a bit of short-term pain for a bit of long-term gain may happen, maybe in order here.
Well,
Like I said, I'm not overly optimistic on what you're going to do with him now at WrestleMania. There's 2 months left. There's a hell of a long time to go. If Taker does come back, you get Taker Cena. So where does that leave Samoa Joe? Maybe we get Joe and Seth. But there's matches there that can get made. Seth, like we said, Seth versus Finn, Seth versus Joe. Seth can get put in that max tag match, which isn't great, but still. And in the grand scheme of things, that's still like an important part to play, because you're going to be there alongside Ronda Rousey, and that alone will bring more eyes to you. So yeah, like I said, I think short term it's not that great, but I still believe he's one of the absolute superstars of that company, and it was only a matter of time before he ultimately ends up back at the top. Because at the end of the day, you go back and look through history, who has stayed at the top like year in, year out, day in, day out? Not very many. It doesn't happen that very often. It works, just goes round in cycles. Even if you look at Roman Reigns, for instance, I understand he had the match last year for Universal title with KO, but then all year, bar that one fatal 4-way, it's not like he's been in the main title picture. Ultimately, people will still play it. Doesn't matter, because we know what's going to happen. But that's my point. He's not. CM Punk had the title and then came down a little bit and was still involved in a lot of like big time feuds. So it goes in cycles, and I I still believe he's one of the best in that company, and I think they will eventually start to push him back in towards the title scene.
Next question we've got is from the Facebook groups Dale and James. This kind of ties in with what we've been talking about. How would you book Jason Jordan upon his return from injury? What would you do with his character, JR?
I think you continue what they've been doing with him. I think that he's been booked really, really well. I remember that interview he had, was it with The Miz? I can't fucking remember, but basically where he was getting booed like so fucking much and he was playing up to it. I think you just keep doing that, and I think you'll be fine. He's not going to be out that long anyway.
I know it's apparently only 4 months or something like that.
The thing is though that that's still a long time, though, 4 months, and at the end of the day, is there such a thing as a neck injury not being important, not being serious, or a routine neck procedure and stuff like that? He'll probably have problems for his entire career, and it'll probably cut his career short, no doubt.
Aye.
I think JR's idea is fine. I would not have an issue with that whatsoever. Or you could go, he comes back, no doubt people may still boo or whatever, I don't know, and you can just turn around on the mic and say, F yous, you booed me before, you booed me when I was injured, none of yous cared when I was in rehab, I don't care, and you just go with a full blown heel turn, similar to when Seth came back. Remember, he came back and he was joking and laughing and smiling, and then just turned around and goes, you just didn't care about me before, why do you care now, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So you could go with that, and then if they ever were going to do Kurt Angle and Jason Jordan, that could be a SummerSlam type match where you could even just turn around where he says to Kurt Angle, like, well, where were you? I needed you, you never helped me, and you were putting me in these matches, I was telling you I wasn't ready, I was still injured, etc. So you could go either way, but the heel turn will come. So, and like I say, what they've done so far was excellent.
It has been. I would probably keep it the same way it has been going, because I think you were saying, JR, about him getting booed. He also was on the Peep Show when Christian was there for Raw 25, and he was playing up to the boos and the jeers very well. I think from his return, I would still like to see him do something with Seth. So maybe Seth climbs to some top of the mountain somewhere, and Jordan comes down during the match. Like I alluded to it a wee bit in the column that I was talking about. Let Jordan stay off TV and wait until Seth's at the top of the mountain, and Jordan, who's jealous beyond belief of the Shield, comes back and attacks Seth and just goes full heel and just turns into Wrestling Machine Junior. And another point that Dylan had brought up, how insane is it that both Jason Jordan and Kurt Angle resemble each other in terms of early characters and injury, even wrestling style as well? Is that not just freaky?
No, Dylan.
Well, he has his
simple question.
Mark.
Exactly, that's what I was going to say. He has his son after all. It's not freaky at all.
I forgot we're a kayfabe podcast over here, so
it's. I says it when he was in Alpha. I thought he was the one that reminded me of Kurt Angle, and it is kind of freaky. Let's just hope that the neck injury itself doesn't have long-term problems, which it probably will. Because his ring ability is fantastic. Mic work, I think if he's a heel, I think he could make a very good heel, and I think he'll be fine on the mic as a heel. But both careers they're very, very eerily similar, like you say, but let's say the logical explanation to that is, it's his biological son. It was always going to happen.
I can't argue with that comment, to be honest with you.
Hopefully Dylan doesn't either.
So the whole thing, I'm a massive Jason Jordan mark. I hope he comes back, and I hope he comes back to batter folk, basically. That would be good. And seeing his time off, while there is nothing wrong with his mic skills, I think he should go to the Performance Centre, to the promo classes, and heal it up. Keep him in the business, so to speak. Just send him down to the Performance Centre where he can still heel, doesn't need to wrestle, and just sort of work on his heel promos and become a bit more devastating with his delivery, instead of the sort of geeky sort of awkward son type thing. Do you know what I mean?
And you kind of wonder if that's intentional.
I think it is.
Maybe that's just his actual real life personality, that he is somewhat uncomfortable speaking. So I don't know. Maybe, I'm not sure. I don't remember him being. To be honest, I don't remember him speaking too much in NXT, but I don't remember being like this. There's definitely room for improvement, so that's what he should be doing when he's off. But I think a heel turn will definitely help it, because a heel turn, like, you can pretty much say whatever you want, and there's no real limit to it, as opposed to being that stupid smiling babyface.
Because apparently Kurt Angle said in an interview, Vince knew that he would be getting this reaction.
Find that hard to believe.
Well,
I understand Vince is meant to be this big genius and stuff, but I find that very hard to believe.
Yeah, Vince is a genius who's bringing back the XFL in 2020.
It's got to be amazing, mate. It's got to be fucking great.
19.
Tell you right now, if you're
My team are going to be the Detroit Doggies.
That's what I'm saying. Like, see, end of the day, mate, if you're ever going to bring like competition to NFL, the time is now.
Yeah,
but it's going to go. It's going to go tits up, and it's not going to work well at all for him. But like I say, when we discussed it when the announcement was made, the good thing is, and we might talk about this if we are going to talk about it, he will start to relinquish a little bit of power in WWE. He will need to spread the power out, because he cannot juggle two massive businesses like that on his own. One of them has to get more attention. It's going to be the XFL.
Do you know, he shouldn't bring the XFL back. Do you know what he should bring back?
WCW.
Do you remember Slam Ball?
No.
JR, do you remember Slam Ball?
Nope.
It was the basketball sport, but it had trampolines in the court. So
oh, yeah.
Can you imagine Kalisto doing some slam dunks?
Needs to bring back Kabaddi to the mainstream, man.
Kabaddi.
Don't know if our American listeners will understand what that is. My dad used to play that and said he was absolutely brilliant at it.
Shout out to Kabaddi.
I thought you were going to say shout out to my dad.
Shout out to your dad as well.
I shout out to your dad, mate.
Aye, that old bastard in Bexley.
So we've obviously got some questions there from some like sort of diehard wrestling fans, but I've got a couple here as well from people who may or may not be family members of mine who they're not as well versed in wrestling as us, so they're wanting to ask some simple questions that to them are like things we need to know about. So first of all,
just before you ask the question, I want to correct you there. From this person who may or may not be a family member, I saw the text messages you were sending each other on WhatsApp, and he seems to be quite clued up in wrestling. I think you might be doing him a bit of a disservice there.
No, I didn't mean I wasn't doing him a disservice.
No, I know what you mean. I know what you meant, but I think he seems to know stuff for someone who's not watched wrestling in a while or isn't into it as much as we are. He seems to know his stuff.
Aye, he does. So
well done, this person who may or may not be a family member.
This person who may or may not be called Martin has asked, why is Undertaker considered a legend despite not having as many championships as other equally popular wrestlers? So, Ricky, you were wanting to take the lead on this one, weren't you?
Yeah, right. The ideal wrestler puts on 5-star matches with 5-star promos and is over, obviously, right? The Undertaker, for year after year, put on great matches alongside great promos. Not only did he do it for a year or two, he didn't do it for 5 years, he didn't do it for 10, he's done it for over 15 years. Right? Now, his in-ring ability may not be that of Shawn Michaels. His promo skills may not be of Austin, Jericho, Rock, CM Punk, Cena, etc., Paul Heyman, but when you merge them together, when you get someone who's good in the ring and good in the mic and is able to do that year in, year out for 15 years or so plus, the longevity is what separates them. And the fact that when you're able to continue to stay over, that's impressive in itself. He had a character that portrayed a guy that was dead, basically, and somehow has kept that relevant for about 20 years. And on top of that, not only has he done that one character, he's always had the American Badass gimmick. Even though he's been the Undertaker and been that sort of the Lord of Darkness, there's been little changes in each character. Yeah, he is the Undertaker. Yeah, he still does those cryptic promos. He does all these dark side stuff. But there's just been little tweaks to his character. So the Ministry of Darkness, that gimmick he had, where he kept putting people up on that big Taker sign sort of thing, that is different from what he is now. So there's little subtle things and not so subtle things that he do with the character that helps him stay over and stay relevant. So that for me is why I regard him as the greatest. More than anything, it was longevity.
Yep.
He has the ability to put on great matches, wrestling matches like the one he had with Shawn Michaels, for instance. Both of them were just unbelievable. I enjoyed the Triple H ones. The CM Punk one, I still don't understand why that's not talked about as one of his better matches and one of the best matches we saw at WrestleMania for a while. That match was excellent. You then go see the Hell in a Cells with Mick Foley, the Boiler Room Brawl with Mick Foley. he Buried Alive matches, the first, what was the one he had with Kane with the Fit of Inferno match. So he has the ability to put on great wrestling matches as well as sort of like slobber knockers, as Jim Ross would say. So his ability to be diverse in his character, his promo work, as well as the type of matches he can deliver, coupled with the longevity, for me is why he sits at the top. Now, that may change. It changes on a daily basis. But for me right now, I believe in my mind, he is the greatest. And people are, can debate and argue with me all they want and stuff, but that's why I regard him as the greatest. Like I said, he wasn't as great as Shawn Michaels and Kurt Angle and stuff in the ring, but like I said, it's every little thing of your character and your ability, etc., all merged into one, and he was able to do it year after year after year.
I mean, apart from the last couple of years there, and the first couple of years where it was just sort of, there wasn't much going on with him until like sort of mid-90s. In between that time, there was a truly dedicated consistency with character. With kayfabe, he kept kayfabe alive, and he still keeps kayfabe alive to this day.
More than anyone in history.
More than half of that locker room combined. He is WWE through and through. There's nothing. He's had a lot of fantastic matches over the years, a lot of fantastic storylines. He stayed with WWE through thick and thin. It's actually quite although it might seem like a simple question, it's actually quite a hard one to define and describe in as many words. You've done a good job there, Ricky, but what about yourself, JR?
I would just say something. So, what is more prestigious, the WWE title or the Undertaker's streak?
See, that's got under a bit of debate on social media these days. A lot of people don't like that he's defined by his streak anymore.
That just sort of became a thing, though. Like when Shawn Michaels brought it up.
I know, it was Randy Orton brought it up.
I understand before it, like, it was thing, but that all of a sudden just seemed to define him as who he was. But all of a sudden now it's all taken as a streak, and it was like, well, that's jumping the gun there, because when he had the first match with Shawn Michaels, like, he was still able to go like big time. So he still had title runs in him. So I've never really liked how all of a sudden the focus just shift to being the streak, but I understand it, because it was sort of like he would only wrestle once a year, and it was always at WrestleMania. So therefore, the emphasis became that, oh, look at that the Undertaker streak and who's going to break it. But it is a good question. It's like, I don't know. I think a lot of people still regard being in the main event at WrestleMania means you have it's a title match and it's a closing the show, regardless of if you get to face the Undertaker or not.
But answer my question: what's more prestigious, the title or the Undertaker streak? When you think about it, like what title get defended year on year, every single year, or 21 years in a row, or whatever it was?
you've got a good valid point there. I mean, there's been many very prestigious world champions over the years, but
I just think I get what you're saying, John Ross, and obviously the answer to your question.
But you've not answered my question. Answer my question.
Yes or no? Yes or no?
I would probably lean towards a title, because to me, getting a title is Vince's way and the company's way of validating you, and it's your coronation and saying, even if you've got it for a couple of months, you are the number one guy in the company, and we're putting this title on you as the face of the company.
So it's close as fuck. It's close as fuck, though.
It is like it was such a big deal when Brock broke the title, broke the streak, like a huge thing. Maybe bigger than Daniel Bryan winning a title later on that night. It was certainly right up there. It was so. I understand where you're coming from, and I suppose watching WrestleMania at that time, I seemed to care more about the streak, especially in that first Triple H match and first HBK match. There was at times, especially in the Triple H match, where I thought the streak's about to end, and I was like really angry about it, and just my heart was racing, and I hadn't had that kind of feeling towards a title match in a while. So I understand where you're coming from, but to end, it's apples and oranges. It's like, you know, people are going to have different opinions on it, and to be honest, I don't think there's any right opinion, any wrong opinion. But for me, I would lean probably towards a title, because I just feel like that's Vince's way of saying, let's say, you're the guy.
I've not got an answer for you, JR, I'm afraid.
That's alright, man, that's alright. At least you give me an answer. No, the reason why I'm saying that is just because it's like, he doesn't really need the title run to be able to say, you know, he was prestigious in any way, because he had the streak, and the streak is unique to Taker. I mean, nobody else will be able to recreate that. Anybody else that has a streak at WrestleMania, it'll always be thought of, you know, the Undertaker will always be thought of. So I think his legacy is completely secured for a very long time, based on that.
That's fair enough. This could be like a podcast all on its own, I suppose. And it's kind of a shame that in today's WWE, when we think of the Undertaker now, we're like, oh no, please just go home and have a rest. Do you know what I mean? And you try and remember, do you know what, he was a legend. But it's been tarnished now, the way Ric Flair's has been tarnished with his last few years in WWE.
For me, it hasn't. I can understand why people think that, but for me it hasn't, just because my memory, I don't have like a short-term memory in that sense. I don't think of which has happened recently. Like, to me, I still remember all those great matches he had. So for me, it hasn't been tarnished in the sense that, like, I can get past these last couple of years. I can block out as if it's never happened.
That's fair enough.
The funny thing is, it's almost sad. I never really thought I'd associate it with the guy, but two things. Did you watch that WWE 24 about last year's WrestleMania? Well, there was a scene in it that's now been removed that the Undertaker was getting painkiller injections in his knee before taking on Roman Reigns. And there was another scene where you can see him sort of walking out in the back, and you can see how badly he was struggling to walk. But in an interview in the car, he was saying, you know how sometimes you see fighters grown old in the middle of a fight right in front of everyone's eyes, and he was like, I hope that doesn't happen to me. And you're thinking, like, that happened a couple of years ago, and if you can't see it, then that's very, very worrying.
Mm-hmm. Got one more question for you guys, if you would like to hear it.
Yeah, go on.
This is from my sister Carol. She's recently got on the Noam Dar train. Obviously, he's from Scotland as well, and she's been following him on Twitter and enjoying his banter, his patter on Twitter. Basically, what we thought of him. Ricky, I don't think you would have much to say about him. You've not really watched 205 Live much or anything like that, but I enjoyed his character, basically because he was just a Scottish, I don't know what the American translation would be, but he is basically a Ned, a Bam. So it's quite funny. It's like a stereotype that he's played up. Good wrestler, good sort of grappler with he's not a massive high flyer or anything like that, but he likes to get down and dirty in the ring. It's quite good to watch. So JR, I don't know if you've seen much of his independent stuff, have you? In ICW or anything like that?
No, I kind of first seen him. Was he in the Cruiserweight?
He was, yes.
Yes, and then he wasn't in NXT, was he? It was just straight into 205. I've seen bits and pieces in Noam Dar. I think he was a bit kind of unlucky to kind of be infamous because of that Alicia Fox thing.
That was quite funny actually, but it got old quite quickly actually.
It got gamified pretty quickly. He's alright. He's young. He's a young boy, so he's got plenty of time to develop.
I mean, when Raw came to Glasgow a couple of years ago, well, a year and a half or so ago, he came out to team up with Brian Kendrick and he got a big pop. Obviously he's in Glasgow, so he's going to get a big pop there, but
it was good to see him though.
If there seems to be this apparent emphasis on 205 Live again, and if Triple H is in charge, it was Triple H that brought Noam Dar in the first place for the Cruiserweight Classic, so maybe when he returns from injury, because he's out just now, quite a lengthy ligament damage problem, then they might have something for him, and I hope there is, because he's a good laugh basically for Scottish fans like ourselves. So thanks ladies and gents for the questions. I just want to discuss a couple of things. There was upheaval on social media when Bobby Roode, I don't know if people were upset that Randy Orton came in and RKO'd everyone left, right and centre, or if it was the fact that Bobby Roode beat Rusev clean, but people were not happy that Rusev lost the US title match that he had. So heads or tails, who's the biggest Rusev mark out of you two? I think it would have to be Ricky.
It is Ricky. I'm a close second, but definitely is Ricky.
Right, so Ricky, tell us your emotions at Rusev losing.
I mean, I'm not that emotional about it. He was never going to win it in the first place. It felt like it was a foregone conclusion what the result was going to be. I don't hate Bobby Roode. I really like Bobby Roode. Just wish he would sort of turn him heel ASAP. So it never really bothered me in the sense that Rusev never won it, because I never expected him to win it. It would have been excellent to see him win it. I am a massive Rusev mark, you know that. I've always been on record saying give every single title in the WWE to Rusev. So, but like I said, overall my feelings are that it came as no surprise. It was not a shock at all that he didn't win it. It would have been more of a shock that he did win it. But I'm just happy that at least he got the shot just now, and hopefully that might lead to a potential Bobby Roode and Rusev feud, potentially either heading into Fastlane or further down the road to Rumble. I would like him to win it at some point, because as John Ross would tell you, that when he had that US title run for the first time, it was just a thing of beauty with him and Lana. But yeah, overall, my thoughts and my feelings are I'm not bothered in the sense that, because I never expect them to win it. I am a little bothered because I want him to win it, and it feels like what he's doing with him, because this is guys are one of the most over guys in the company, and merchandise is selling. Everyone's absolutely loving him at the moment. But yeah, it didn't come as a surprise whatsoever. So that's my feelings, and I'm assuming John Ross will probably feel the same.
But the Bob Roode fucking put the fucking title on Rusev, because this is one of the few times where somebody gets over like in a fucking weird way, and it's amazing, and it just shows you that Rusev can work as a babyface. How the fuck can Rusev work as a babyface? Fucking hell. Aye. I wouldn't have him win the title just yet, but I'd have him win it pretty soon.
And that's it, because for me, I would then, if you're going to put a title on him, I would then ultimately maybe start to transition Roode into a heel, and then transition him into potentially going on and challenging Nakamura for the title. I think that's probably going to be a logical step for him at some point. in the future.
Oh.
Potentially where it's heading towards SummerSlam time, maybe sooner, because I don't know how much longer you can drag out. And you probably could, because if Nakamura wins it at WrestleMania, you'll probably have the rematch with AJ, and then you could transition to Randy Orton, a heel Randy Orton, into a match with Nakamura to ultimately go with Bobby Roode then as well. But yeah, like, I think you need to put a title on him as soon as, like you say, extremely over, and you just don't want to get into the problem and the issue where if someone gets over, that you don't coronate them with a title, because you've seen it with Braun for so long now. He's arguably the most over guy in the company. Has been for a while, but yet you're not putting a title on him just to sort of solidify that he's the guy. And I understand sometimes you don't want to always be dictated. You don't want to be dictated by your audience and stuff, and your customers, etc. But at the end of the day, they are your customers. They're your paying customers, and you should want to appease them at times. Not all the time, because, like I say, like fans, we sort of latch on to someone, and a couple of months later we're done with them, sort of thing. But there's certain guys that have shown that they're able to get over, and they can sustain that over a period of time. And Rusev's been one of them, because he's been over for a long time. This is arguably the most over he's ever been, but beforehand he was over. A lot of people liked him, and the same goes with Braun. So I think at some point you've got to just be like, right, we need to bite the bullet here, and we need to put the title on him and just see how it goes for the next 2, 3, 4 months. Because I'm telling you right now, when I said earlier on about Seth Rollins, that either someone can make the title or a title can make someone else, Rusev would elevate that title, and he would make that title feel, I'm not saying it's not important just now, but he would definitely help elevate that title even more. So that's my thoughts on it. I know some people may not agree with it, but hey, I think like you say, there comes a time where you've got to put a title on someone.
It's like Mankind. How over did Mankind have to get before they fucking put the belt on him?
And it was like as if they were reluctant to do it.
But he was just like I remember when he won that title the first time, man. Like just the relief, because you'd seen that guy fucking go through the fucking shit. Do you know what I mean? Like, you could have something similar. Do you know what I mean? Like you could do something like that. It's organic. Fucking put the belt on him. Like when does that happen?
That's it, and it's like, it's almost as if you're, I'm trying to think of the correct term for it, but because he's over and he's doing so well, it's almost like you're rewarding him for it in a sense.
Yeah.
But it just, honestly, it just doesn't feel like they're going to do it, and it's like you're missing an opportunity here, because you can make a lot of money for the guy, and he can become a big time star, whether it's a heel or whether it's a face. As a face, he would be fantastic. As a heel, just be what you've always been, just this absolute brute. But like we say, overall, and I think I probably speak for both of us, that it comes as no surprise whatsoever that they never put the title on him.
Can I bring up something that's a wee bit sort of mirrored on Raw? So Rusev is an over mid-card act at the moment, and whatever he does, he doesn't seem to get over in terms of like sort of achievements, championships and stuff like that. But we've got this Elias push going on just at the moment, and I wouldn't even say it's come out of nowhere. He's slowly but surely getting more TV time. He's in more high-profile matches. All of a sudden, he's in the Chamber match, and all of a sudden, he's number 6 entrant in the Chamber match, so he'll be coming out last. It's just, does Elias is similar to Rusev, and I wonder if that's why I personally don't think Rusev will ever reach the dizzy heights. Is Elias' gimmick, does that allow for main event status?
Well, you remember, this is like, he's kind of similar to like Goldust, like when Goldust was like in originally, when he had all that controversy and all that kind of stuff, like he's just like this fucking guy that's just getting a shitload of fucking heat. I mean, that gimmick was hot garbage, and he turned it into fucking hot stuff. Do you know what I mean? How the fuck they flipped this one, I have no idea, because I used to fucking joke about it. Check that fucking Scarfy guy, he's the fucking best cunt in it. And you know what, man? See some of his like heel promos, like the kind of a wee bit remind me of the kind of way that they did Kurt Angle originally. Like, here's the football town, fuck the Patriots, fuck these guys, like, you know, those kind of promos. And it's simple stuff, but I definitely think this could sneak into the main event. I don't think he's going to get a belt, but I think it definitely could. He could fucking definitely main event a pay-per-view.
I would say there is definitely an intercontinental or US title in his future. He does have that mid-card gimmick, and it's getting over. Vince obviously loves him, but Ricky, would you say, are there any other mid-carders more deserving of a main event spot than Elias at the moment?
Well, The Miz. The Miz.
Well, he's got the IC title just now.
But I mean, if you're saying main, I'm talking about upper echelon of the card. But go back to is Elias a main eventer? I think it's there. I think it's there. In the ring, he's quite good. On the mic, it's just, like John Ross said, it's kind of simple in how he's getting the heat, but at the same time, he's getting heat and he's doing just. Like I said, it's not complicated in terms of what he's doing. I just think he just, the way he delivers, there's just a certain wee things that he says. I can see why he's a Vince favourite, and I don't know, I may be wrong, but you either did say that he's going to flop on the main event or Vince is going to really take to him. I can't remember which one you said. I'm kind of leaning that I thought you said Vince was going to take to him. Just because it's so different. Just the guitar and sitting down with the spotlight on him. It's so different. It's not something you see. So that alone makes him stand out.
It's like, how many people had like fucking guitar gimmicks? Like, you had like fucking Jeff Jarrett. Who was the other people that had them?
Honky Tonk Man.
Did they ever fucking play them? I know he can't play it, but it's a unique fucking spin on it.
Do you know, that's the funny thing about it all. He's not that good a guitarist in the first place. That's the best. That's the funniest thing about it.
He's just like fucking like guitar wanker at party you want to leave.
Do you know what I think it is? I think the reason he's getting a push, not because of popularity or like heel popularity. Braun Strowman said in, I think it was The Sun when they were doing a UK tour, basically Vince has held his hand throughout the whole main roster run. In other words, he has done exactly what Vince has told him to do. So Vince sees that obedience and has rewarded him with being one of the main guys in Raw. I think Elias comes off as a guy who does exactly what Vince has told him to do, and that's why he's been getting all that mic time and stuff like that, because he's a good boy behind the scenes.
And I also think that just because the whole thing, who wants to walk with Elias, and a lot of people join in and stuff, he got over like organically himself. And I think Vince potentially may have saw that and just been like, right, the gimmick itself is different, like you says, and we can fine tune him a little bit, and we don't necessarily need to put a title on him. You can just be that guy, sort of mid card or upper echelon of the card, and we never need to put a title on him, and he's still going to stay over just because, let's say, the gimmick's it's completely different from what you see in the company right now.
So is that like a Jake the Snake kind of fucking place on the card?
Exactly. And it's a good spot to have, to be honest. Like, at the end of the day, like, you're always going to be useful for something.
Yep.
You're always going to be on TV. You've
got 3 hours to fill up, so use it as best you can. 3 hours a week on telly. You need to think of something. So, do you know what? More power to the guy himself. I wish him well in his future endeavours. Goodbye, Elias. Right. Last sort of topic of the night. Tell me this. See, from a spectacle point of view, like a sort of violence, aesthetically wow factor stuff, why is Nia Jax not in the Elimination Chamber match? if they
Because
miss
she's going to have a fucking match at the fucking Mania.
Right.
You're letting other people get over so that she can have the match at Mania.
What match at Mania will she have, though?
She's going to lose the match against Asuka because of Bliss. Then she's going to have a fucking match against Bliss.
So
fucking thing.
It seems
the WrestleMania.
It's all a wee bit confusing for me, to be honest.
It's chewing up a bit of time in it. That's all it's doing.
I know, but the Chamber, both the men and women Chamber matches, the stipulations and the qualifying and stuff, it's all been a bit all over the place, and it's hard to keep up with it, to be honest with you.
Why have we got a pay-per-view right now? Like, seriously, did we have to have one? Could we not have a break? That's what the problem is.
That's never going to happen. It's not been the case for years. 20 years now. So, just deal with it, mate. But seriously, like, I know there's this stipulation as well that if Nia Jax wins her match versus Asuka, she'll be included in the WrestleMania match as a triple threat. Realistically, they're not going to have Asuka lose a match in the lead up to Mania. So, why... Just like look at the likes of Goldberg and Umaga over the years. Why not have someone like Nia Jax, who's a dominant force, who has shown in multi-women matches in the past that she can destroy many women at the same time? Why not have someone like that in a chamber match? Give it a bit of oomph.
Because if she goes into the chamber, she needs to win it, and then if she wins it, it means that
she doesn't need to win it.
Surely.
Ricky, thoughts?
So the match next week, is it Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax?
On Raw?
I thought they had a match coming next week.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Anyway, we know Asuka's going to win at the Chamber, right? That's a foregone conclusion. I agree with John Ross. I think if she's in the chamber match, she has to win it then. And I don't think they want her to, because I think they're going to have her in the title match at WrestleMania.
So it'll be Nia Jax versus Bliss at Mania and Asuka versus Charlotte?
Mm-hmm.
You can't risk Nia Jax right now. They've done such a fucking good job with her. I can't believe how much I like her, and I want to see her wrestle, and I want to see her get that title. I was very sour on her, so they really need to treat her with respect. So shenanigans and her versus Bliss, and fucking she's getting that title. She has to.
I see they've done a good job with Nia Jax, and raise it with they made her fancy Enzo Amore. They have not.
I didn't even mind it.
No,
I was like, cool.
They have not done well with Nia Jax, and they continue to muck up her consistency. That was shite. The Enzo Amore stuff.
Honestly, it didn't bother me that much. There was a crap promo that she did with Bliss, but the women are still developing. You know what I mean? Right now, I think like on the mic, who's the best out of the women? It's probably Flair, Banks, Becky. But who else can touch them on that level, you know? So there's a lot of development that needs to happen. I don't think it's been too bad.
Oh, I mean, it has been better booked than it has been over the years, historically, obviously, because you've had a lot of shite over the years, but it just seems all a bit confusing. It's this whole chamber, and you've got Sonya Deville and Mickie James had quite a brutal match. I've got high hopes for Sonya Deville, actually. She, in her transition from NXT over to Raw, she had a sort of mini rivalry going on with Ruby Riott, and they had two really good matches on NXT, and she made Ruby Riott pass out at one point as well. I can't remember if it was her first or second match that they had, but she's come on leaps and bounds in the last few months, so I'm hoping for good things for Sonya Deville once the WrestleMania season's out the way and she gets a bit more spotlight on herself. Ricky, what have your thoughts been on Sonya Deville so far?
I suppose somewhat where you are, and not as high on her as you. I think she's fine. I kind of like the whole gimmick that she has. She looks tough as hell. She comes across as it, but I'm not that emotional. I'm not emotionally invested at all in her just yet.
Mm-hmm.
That it may change. Sorry, that may change as the days and months go on. When I look at her, I just don't think I'll ever see her. Look at her and I think that she'll be in the same bracket as Sasha and Bayley, etc. And I suppose that maybe that's unrealistic because of just how great they are. But I think she does have a chance to be sort of like one of the top sort of women heels in that on the division. But like I say, I can't say I'm enamoured with her at the moment. I'm more so looking at the other women in the division. I'm like, right, I would rather build them up strongly and properly now.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't mind seeing her on SmackDown, actually. If Asuka's
I think you're definitely going to get a couple of changes, obviously with the draft or even before it, but I think Charlotte's eventually going to come back over to Raw. And then I could maybe see somebody like Bayley or Sasha heading over to SmackDown to replace her, especially if Asuka goes over, because then I think they're ultimately, and I'm sort of going off on a tangent here, because ultimately they're going to go Charlotte versus Ronda Rousey, I think. So
later.
I'm actually that could be like next year's WrestleMania. That could be. That's a long time away.
JR, any thoughts? And what about Mandy Rose as well? Anything? I've not really. I hear she's a good wrestler, but
I think with the lassies, it's just like if they got the stink off them, then the fact they're just Paige's lackeys, and then Paige get injured.
Well,
I know that it seems quite negative, but I think they came up a bit too soon, so they don't really feel that fully developed.
Well, a few of them came up too soon. Liv Tyler and Sarah Logan as well. I mean, Sarah Logan was hardly even on NXT. Ruby Riott, I can understand. She'd been on NXT for a while, and the women's...
She was in the Indies for a while as well, wasn't she?
She was in the Indies, yeah. But she was... the main event women's scene in NXT was a wee bit crowded when you've got Kairi Sane in there now, you've got Shayna Baszler tearing it up, really liking Shayna Baszler just now. Ember Moon...
Blazer, mate.
Shayna Baszler. I don't know where Peyton Royce and Billie Kay are. I don't know if they're injured or not, but it was the right time, I think, for Ruby Riott to come up. So she's doing well. Just like the others, there still needs to be a wee bit of time, and there is plenty of time, especially if a superstar shake-up happens after Mania. So let's hope that the next couple of weeks clears up the creative and makes things just a bit more easy for simpletons like myself to understand the booking side of things. Well, anything else you guys want to talk about before we finish with our quiz?
Fuck the Bob Roode.
What?
Fuck the Bob Roode.
No, I don't have anything else to add on. No, unless you want to address the 205 rumours, or unless you're maybe going to come up with a column for that, I don't know.
I was... people are... Obviously there's this rumour going about that Triple H is taking charge of 205 Live. If he does, if he has, and if Vince... I don't care who it was that was in charge before, they made a mess of it by putting Enzo in there. Even before all the carry-on happened with Enzo, it just went downhill rapidly. They struggled immensely with Neville not being there, but I've enjoyed 205 Live the last couple of weeks, and I would say it's a bit of a reboot. I do intend to do a column shortly about that, but Rockstar Spud, aka Drake Maverick, he came across very enthusiastic and positive last week. It just seemed like a right fan of 205 Live, and it was good to see. It made his positivity came off screen, and I was into it. So someone like that, excellent, fair dues to him. We've got a couple of more of the UK guys, and we've actually got Roderick Strong over there now. I don't know if he's there full time or not. He seemed to slip by the wayside in NXT, get lost in the shuffle, so it'll be good if Roderick Strong gets some more TV time. JR, I know you're a big Roderick Strong fan, so do you think 205 Live's a good place for him, or would you rather see him work his way to the top in NXT?
So if what you're saying is true, that they're going to give Triple H, or Triple H is running 205 Live, then I think it's Roderick Strong straight in there.
Good shout.
Can you
actually
confirm or not if this tournament is like the Cruiserweight style that happened before? Because that's important as well. Are we getting those types of matches?
That's one thing that's a bit annoyed
from
me.
The Cruiserweight Classic you're talking about?
Yeah, the CWC.
Mm-hmm.
It is, but what annoys me is people saying, "Oh, the wrestling's good again." The wrestling's always been good on 205 Live, apart from the Enzo matches. There was always a really good main event. I mean, each week they had matches that were main event. They would not look out of place on a normal pay-per-view. So the wrestling quality thing annoyed me quite a bit.
I think it was more the stuff that was happening on Raw rather than 205 Live.
The things, it was repeats. They were just repeating matches on Raw and vice versa, which was annoying. It's like, right, you've obviously not got
for 5 minutes as well, so they don't get to tell actually like a decent story.
And it shows that they're just filling a spot on Raw because, right, we'll put the cruiserweights in. We've not got any creative for them, so we'll just rehash the match that they had the previous Tuesday night, which did my box in. But I've loved tournaments, happy with tournaments. It's good to see Roderick Strong in there. We've got Mark Andrews, he'll be there next week. Be good to see him. He's a right good crowd pleasing cruiserweight guy. He was over as Mandrews and TNA in the X Division there, so we'll see what happens there. Probably a couple more surprises on the way in terms of entrance into the tournament. So things are looking up for 205 Live. Just need to wait and see now. Cedric Alexander in real life must be quite annoyed because he was probably earmarked to win the Cruiser title at the Rumble and he has to start from scratch again, but I think we'll probably see, I liked your shout there, the Roderick Strong. Maybe we'll see Cedric versus Roderick in a face v face match at WrestleMania because they're both hard hitters. That'd be a good match, I think. Indeed.
That'd be good.
So, shall we end with the quiz this week, gentlemen?
Yep.
Is this another quiz based around 2003, 2015?
And we'll find out shortly, won't we, Ricky?
Yes, indeed, we will.
Okay, here we go.
It's fucking quiz time with Ricky and Clive and friends. A fucking WWE quiz.
Right, Ricky, tell us what's the quiz this week.
The quiz is based on the cruiserweights because I thought of the whole Triple H news coming out.
Nicely
and I thought
segued.
I initially thought it was going to be just us two, so I'm hoping I haven't just played into your strengths, and if you're just in John Ross won't know, but hopefully that's not the case. Here we go.
So what would you do for the quiz if I wasn't here then?
We just do a quiz.
We just alright.
We just do a quiz.
Just be one person.
I did a one question quiz.
Do you know what we'll do?
Alright.
I will.
Is it like Mastermind?
We'll speak to the Keeping It Strong style guys and we'll devise a New Japan quiz for you, JR. How does that sound?
Oh man, don't even watch that, mate. I'll fucking fuck it up. No, don't do that. I'll fuck it up. Don't.
You'll embarrass your fandom.
Question number one.
Right, okay, go.
Name the two finalists in the Cruiserweight Championship, the series they had, sorry. Cruiserweight Challenge.
Classic.
Classic, whatever. I never watched it. Don't care about it.
Can you say that again?
Name the two finalists in the Cruiserweight
Oh
Classic.
boy, it was oh fuck. It was Kota, but no, it wasn't. Fucked it, hadn't I? It was TJP and Grand Metallic.
Yes, correct. Now, in the newest format of the Cruiserweight title, who has had the shortest reign?
Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
Oh fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Akira Tozawa.
Yes. Okay. Who has had the longest reign?
Oh boy, Neville.
I'm not finished the question.
I need to fucking get in this fast, man. Give it to me.
Who has had the longest reign, including from the original title run? Was that from, like, what was that? 2002 to 2007 or something it was? So basically the last two versions of the Cruiserweight title.
So you're not including the light heavyweight title, no?
No.
Right, okay. Oh, it's true, it's damn true.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Chavo Guerrero?
Nope.
Oh boy.
Mm-hmm.
Tajiri?
Nope.
Oh fuck.
What was the answer?
I'll give you a clue.
Can I have another guess?
Oh, if I give you a clue, you're going to have another guess, eh?
Okay.
He may or may not have had super powers.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
Hurricane Helms?
Yes. Okay. Question number 4. Who was the last ever champ? And this was the previous version, so that was back in 2007, I believe it was.
Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
Yes.
I'm trying to think of his other name. Little Bastard. Was it Little Bastard? Hornswoggle?
Correct. 2
Oh,
each.
he retired that? Oh, that's horrible. I forgot about that.
Who, in the current title version, who has had the most title reigns?
The current one?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Neville?
Oh, but it's true. It's damn true.
Right. Hold on. I'm not sure how I need to play this.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Well, is that your final answer, John Ross?
Who did he keep losing it against?
Can
He
I?
lost it again.
Oh, it's
No, go ahead, let him go.
oh, it's true. It's damn true.
Mm-hmm.
It was a tie between Brian Kendrick and Neville for 2 each.
And is that your final answer?
Yes, 205 Clive has probably got
Yeah,
this
he
wrong.
kind of needs to fucking win this one, man.
I know.
Let him win it.
How many times did you say the Brian Kendrick has won the newest one?
Twice.
Are you sure about that? Did you not only win it once?
Right. Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
Well, hold on. I think I might just need to give you both a point each for getting Neville.
But that's 3 each then.
Yeah, I've still got 2 bonus questions.
Right.
So, you don't get a point for this, but would you like to guess who the other person is?
Enzo Amore.
Yes.
Oh, fuck. We're supposed to have rid him from our history.
Nah. Doesn't work with that.
He's not redacted yet.
Exactly. And
He's not Mr. Pixel Face.
no, well, Chris Benoit is arguably the greatest ever, but hey, I won't be forgetting his wrestling matches, will I?
True.
Despite the hideous things they've done, heinous things they've done. Okay, so we are at 2 each.
3 each.
How did you get 3 each?
You
I'll give you a point there, didn't I? Right, here we go. Neville beat who to win his first title? Well, first cruiserweight title.
Oh, it's true.
Oh boy.
Oh, I have to
PGP.
give it to Clive.
Oh.
Clive just got in there. Your answer was wrong anyway, John Ross.
It was Richard Swan.
Correct.
Oh.
So the last
hold on,
question.
mate.
So if John Ross gets this right, I need to think of a question on the fly.
But why? Because it's 4-3 to me.
Doesn't matter. I'm reading all my 7 questions.
Oh, fucking hell, man.
I told you that.
Some quizmaster.
This doesn't want you to win.
As a
Doesn't it,
quizmaster, you can make the rules up as you want. I used it was 3 each. I said I still got 2 more questions I'm going to ask.
Aye, it's called.
You didn't object.
It's called a
Anyway,
tiebreaker.
at which pay-per-view?
Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
Yes.
Royal Rumble. 2017.
Yes, correct. It was important that you win that.
Of course it was.
I didn't know we
Well
could.
done. Well done.
Thank you for joining me tonight, gentlemen. JR, do you have any shout-outs or blessings?
Fuck that.
Oh, sorry, I thought that's what you were asking me earlier on when I said fuck Bob Roode. I thought that's what you were asking.
No.
I thought I was just going to get a go with it doing the quiz. I was like, yeah, I still not doing it. Oh. Fuck the Bob Roode.
Ricky?
Shout out to all the usual guys on Social Suplex, SMC, One Nation Live, Keep It Strong Style. Shout out to Ricky and Clive ourselves as well, you know.
Shout out to that guy that looks like Rusev with the Rusev Day t-shirt.
Kyle Moores, you've won a t-shirt. Well done.
You won a t-shirt. Well done.
Aye. You look like
That's
Rusev,
it.
mate.
Just shout out to all the guys. Keep downloading everyone's podcast on the network. Even shout out to Carl, even though he told his listeners not to follow us on Twitter. But hey ho, no hard feelings there, Carl.
Yep. So
Fly Eagles fly.
Ricky has name dropped the SMC Wrestling Podcast, Keeping It Strong Style, One Nation Radio, Wrestling Squared Circle Facebook group. How you all doing? Hi there. And I'm going to give a shout out to myself again. So Ricky, you put me over at the start, and I'm going to put myself over at the end. I was mucking about on the laptop and I found one of the old songs that I used to do when I had a musical creative mindset, so I'm going to finish the show with a tune. It's basically, see the intro that starts the podcast, it's the actual song that's not been edited. It's a raw, uncut edition, so I hope you enjoy that. But that's us for this week, guys. Speak to you all next week and enjoy your weekend.
Take care, guys.
Bye-bye now.
Right.